and getting interviews every day, and I can't even get a call returned. Where am I supposed to get a job in this economy?
You have to keep trying. I'll work harder too.
Security threw me out the building like I was a goddamn criminal. Do you understand what I'm going through?
Of course, I do. But I also understand what we'll be going through if one of us doesn't start making some money. What are we going to tell people?
Tell them your husband is the CEO of a sports agency.
With no clients, no investors, and a partner you haven't spoken to in 10 years. Frank, this is serious.
Welcome to Inside New York. We've got a hit show that's a must-see, but it's only running through September 1st, so you better run to the theater. Charles White has a new play, which has returned due to popular demand, called UNENTITLED. It is a play about an upper middle-class family that is thrown into turmoil and crisis when Frank, the head of the family and the successful corporate attorney, gets laid off from work. But he decides to pursue his lifelong dream of opening a business. But his wife, Deanna, is not having it, especially when he starts talking about selling their family's property.
I trust you. You betrayed me. If you had title, you would have sold our home in a heartbeat and not even told me.
So, better stay right there because it's all right here. We've got the Playwright and a number of the fabulous ensemble right here on Inside New York. Charles, tell us what inspired you to write this play.
Well, I started writing it. It was a 10-minute play 10 years ago. And then, frankly, it was the first two male characters. It was the husband, Frank, and his brother-in-law, Ben. That was their conflict was the entire length of the play. And people said, no, you got to stretch it out. You got to do something with it. So over the years, it evolved into what you see now. And the inspiration was wanting to tell a story about a segment of Black life that you don't normally see in the theater. And also showing that there are class distinctions within the Black community, even within one family in the Black community. So that was really the basis for it.
Yes, and I think we should introduce the cast members we have here. We have Adrienne Washington, Jill Tucker.
How you doing?
Yes, and Kenya Wilson.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, so good to have you with us today. And Charles, I want to get back to you about the title, because when I heard the title, Unentitled, I was like, you just dropped that one word. So why did you choose that as the title of your play?
Well, again, it was to accentuate the class issues, because, we all think of like white males are so entitled, which basically they are. And I thought in this, in this situation and what's written on the page there, it's like you've got the Walters who have an entitlement. They're descendants of freed slaves who have done well in life and aspired and gotten property, et cetera, and status, et cetera. And then on the other hand, you have Frank, the main character, who is not of that class, but who has worked his way into it. And then you have Adrienne's character, Aaron, who is very working class, but ends up having a relationship with the upper class.
I also wanted to mention that the music in between the sets, it kind of creeps up on you where you're expecting one thing and then you hear a little music, but then it like becomes so soulful and so hip and everybody's almost parting in their seats, mouthing the lyrics because it's just so familiar and seemingly so appropriate. So I want to give kudos to whoever decided on the music. I think you said that was the director.
Yeah.
And that's
Terrence.
kind of unusual, isn't it?
Yeah. Terrence L. Mosley. He the way he set it up now, the music tells its own story.
Mm.
Which moves the story forward. So it's a very nice, it's well done. It's well done.
Well, it has been sold out, came back, and you just came back from the National Black Theater Festival where it played as well. So congratulations on all of those accomplishments. Why do you think it sold out initially?
I think it had a lot to do with word of mouth. Because when we got in the theater, we were telling people we were going to be doing the show anyway, and so we were pumping it as well as the other cast members and the crew. And as we started moving, it started to snowball, and people would come see the show and say, "Oh, I got to tell my friends to come see it." So it's been moving real nice. And this time, I think that we found the joy as cast members. We're really enjoying one another's work up there on that stage, and it's like it's nothing like live theater. When you do, film, they can say cut and go over, but with us, it's like if somebody has a little flub and the audience never knows, somebody else in that cast will pick it up and run with the ball and say, "All right, well, I got your back," and we're just a well-oiled machine, especially coming back from the festival. It's like we found our footing. So we're really my cast members are on fire, and I love working with them.
Exactly.
It just improves. It's like every night it's like, wow, they found something else.
There's so many layers.
Yeah, that's just a great
and
committee.
it's organic. Like it's just even in terms of the audience's reaction to it, there's some laughter here and there. And then, like I said, by the end, everybody like just about parting in their seat and just loving it. So
last night there was so much laughter, or like yesterday afternoon, I should say. I was in the back with Doug Wade, the producer, and I said, they're going to break character because the audience is enjoying it too much. I don't know how they're going to stay in character.
We came close a couple of times, but we hung in there, and you got a hold for those moments. It's that's something that's hard too, because as an actor, most of the time you're used to just saying your line and or listening and answering the line, but then sometimes you have to just hold because the audience is laughing so hard, or they're just so into the show. You got to hold for a second for that beat and then come in on top, and be able to be heard. So it's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Yes. And I think that's probably the challenge of comedy. So the timing is crucial. And nobody can really teach that to you. We got veterans up there. Even though they all look young, you're all veteran actors.
Speak for the cast. Speak for the other cast members.
Yeah, you still look young. Okay. So just also to give it a little context, because in the description it says that this takes place in Long Island, but you mentioned Sag Harbor and the Hamptons. So basically, this is a family crisis set in Sag Harbor, correct?
Yes.
Or is it the Hamptons?
It's set in Sag Harbor, and Adrian's character is from Bridgehampton. And one thing I wanted to bring out was, we think of the Hamptons as this rich summer community, which it absolutely is. But there are many working class people in the Hamptons who live there year round, and they basically make their money in the summer when the rich people come in for the summer. And Adrian's character represents one of the year-round residents who's not so well off, but essentially makes money when the rich people come in for the summer. And so I know the Hamptons well. I just wanted to make sure. I wanted to get that across. Like there are communities here that you don't hear about, and they clash with the communities that you do hear about.
So there's a lot of surprises in this. Getting back to comedy, is there any, or it doesn't have to be comedic, is there any one line that you really enjoy saying? I'll start with you, Adrian.
Uh,
Oh, and then
oh,
I gotta
wow, you
say
put me on
why.
the spot. There's so many lines. There's so
Okay.
many lines. But my favorite line is actually one that Deanna says. She says, refugees, third generation refugees from the projects. That's my favorite line in the entire play. I love it. And
Okay.
the audience always seems to respond the same way. It's so it's like searing. It's like the dagger you can't catch.
Okay. Gil.
And I'm in the scene with Kenya and Reggie, and they're arguing, and Kenya's character hits him with something really hard, and Reggie stands there. His character goes, "Oh," and he comes back with something else. I'm like, "Oh, here it comes,"
Yeah.
and the audience gets it. They're like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen now?" So it's just that's that other moment for me.
Yeah. Kenya.
I think one of my favorite lines is simply when I asked Frank, "What about your Republican friends? They've got to be good for something." I just love getting that line out because it just shows that you would think that Deanna would have a lot of Republican friends, and and that she supports you know. Uh, Barack Obama, and it's just another side of her to me that you would think that of all of the people in that household that she would be a Republican, and the fact that she's not. So I really like that line.
Yes, it's a great work that it certainly shouldn't be missed. So
Thank
I
you.
congratulate all of you. And
Thank
thanks
you.
so much.
Thank you, Joan.
Much.
So thank you for joining us for this week's program of Inside New York. You can see more of our interview on one of our upcoming programs. Don't forget to also subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can see more of this interview on demand. And we'll see you again next week on Inside New York.